Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to be covering some of the earnings that happened on Friday as well as throughout the week. And obviously there were some big movers, especially one of the big ones for me, and we'll be talking about that one in just a little bit. But as always guys, smash that like button for them 35% gains that we got on Pinterest on Friday. Absolutely insane gains, so absolutely amazing, and we'll be covering that and a couple of other ones as we go through the video. So obviously the first one that we're going to be talking about is Pinterest, and I don't normally make videos on Saturday and Sunday. Normally have them 2 days off, but I felt like after them absolute amazing earnings from Pinterest, I felt like I'll do one video just to talk about it, because sometimes I feel like you've got to appreciate when you hit the home runs. You know, it's quite easy that on this channel, and me in general, like I can just get caught into talking about the next stock to invest in, talking about this stock. And sometimes, you know, you got to just sit back a little bit, look at what you've done, look at the rewards that you've just brought in, and appreciate why you do investing and what you get for investing. And Pinterest is one of those. Obviously, we got a 35% gain on Pinterest on Friday, which was absolutely insane. Like, I saw the earnings report, and like I said, I'll get onto it in a little bit, but I just saw it up 12%, and then it was 20%, and then it was 25%, and then it was 35%, and I was like, oh my god, keeps going up. And yeah, 35% in one day is definitely one of the biggest gainers I've had for a very long time, and I just kind of like sat watching pre-market, just watching it go up, and it was amazing. And like I say, sometimes like with some of the earnings that we've had this week, you got to look back at what you've done, you're investing, rather than chasing all the stocks, and look at some of the rewards from being a long-term investor. You know, knowing your company, supporting it when it goes up, when it goes down, know the company, and have that belief to average in. And I think when you look back at some of these UK companies right now, and you know that fear of you're down on your position, you're worried about it, I think you look at Pinterest right now, and it's just a prime example of having that belief in your company and being able to back it up and not getting soaked in when your stock's going down. I mean, Pinterest for me at one point, I think when I obviously held Pinterest going into the COVID, and I think at one point I was down 30, maybe 40% on Pinterest. And we look now and I'm up absolutely huge. And when you know your company and you have the belief in it, you will get them gains if you stick to your game plan that you have. Obviously mine is to, you know, average in, know your company, know why that company is going to have the, you know, the increase in the share price, hold it for 2 to 5 years, not get soaked up in the short term, you know, be greedy when other people are fearful, and you'll start seeing these rewards like we had in Pinterest overall. So I'll get stuck into Pinterest earnings, and like I say, now I'm currently up 82% on the Trading 212 platform, and on the Giro platform I'm up 47%. And when we take a look at Pinterest earnings, we had a EPS beat, and also we had a revenue beat. So when I originally looked at this, I was like, yeah, the EPS isn't too bad. It's kind of coming double than what's expected, so that's pretty good. Looked at revenue and I was like, revenue is okay, and then it was just looking at like user growth. I mean, 40% user growth was absolutely insane, blew the numbers away, and obviously that's where we got the jump, because the belief is that when you've got a bigger base to monetize, to when kind of everyone goes back to advertising, and obviously Pinterest is only just really ramping up the monetization side of it, obviously the EPS and revenue is going to explode. But like I say, you guys that have been watching the channel for, you know, the last 1 year, 2 years, and I've been doing videos on Pinterest, you know that this is what I've always said about this stock. And basically, you know, it's what I've been saying on the channel. This is what will happen with Pinterest, and that's why I invested into it. And you know, in the short term, I was down on this one a few days. I was up a little bit a few days, but you know, it's getting the rewards from there now. And yeah, up 85%, 82% is a good feeling. So yeah. And then obviously on Thursday night we did get the Facebook earnings, and that put me up 42% and 50% on the shares that I have in Facebook. And once again, being greedy when other people are fearful, I know that it obviously the Cambridge Analytica that happened, and that's when I bought. We also had the COVID, and also the potential of advertisers not to be using Facebook anymore. But obviously I knew they would be totally fine from it, and Facebook came out with some pretty decent earnings as well. Facebook had an EPS beat of $40, beat on revenue and active users, so overall really good from them. EPS, like I say, was fantastic. Revenue 10% dip, 10% growth in what was supposed to be a horrible quarter for them, which was amazing. Obviously active users jump as well, and once again bigger platform to advertise to, really good. And then just out there we had Apple, which I'm not invested in Apple, but yeah, their earnings were absolutely fantastic. I mean, Apple, we had an EPS beat by $51, and I thought like Apple would be one of the earnings that would be pretty weak, but their EPS beat was fantastic, revenue beat was amazing, and iPhone sales was the big one for me. Like, I'm not like revenue grew 10%, which Apple hasn't done for years. Like, I can't remember the last time Apple grew 10% revenues, which was amazing from them. I think last time might have been when the actual 4G came out, which I think was like the iPhone 6. But yeah, the big thing, like iPhone sales, like the beat, there was supposed to be 26 billion, and the consensus was 22 billion, so a 4 billion beat in iPhones, and I just didn't know who would be buying iPhones in that quarter, and clearly they did amazing. So fantastic numbers from Apple, and yeah, their shares popped as well. Amazon had pretty decent earnings, EPS beat by quite a bit, revenue growth was absolutely fantastic as well, but obviously the stock's kind of priced to perfection now. I mean, I don't know where Amazon goes from here. Trying to beat that quarter will be very tricky for them, so I don't know. I think a very good quarter for Amazon, but I've got to look at the price now and say the only way it could carry on pulling them numbers out is if we had another lockdown and they could benefit from that. But yeah, great numbers from Amazon as well overall. And also we had the Greggs earnings, which I've talked about previously on the channel, and people like talk about Greggs, and I think Greggs is one of the prime examples. Greggs is at its starting life. Like I planted the seed into Greggs now, and I'm ready to see the gains in 2 to 5 years. You know, if you look at Pinterest, you know, we planted that seed a year and a half ago, and now we're starting to see the rewards come through on Pinterest. And this is what I say, I don't mind where they go in the short term. You know, the first 6 months, the first 12 months, the stock can kind of go anywhere it wants to, in my opinion. Preferably it goes down because I can buy more at cheaper prices. Like, you look at Pinterest and I managed to get them at cheaper prices, I've got more of a gain. I got them at like normal prices and there's less of a gain. You know, that's the difference between getting prices lower. But Pinterest, like, you know, that seed's starting to grow now, and we're starting to see the rewards from that one. And everyone that kind of gets nervous when they talk about stocks that they're starting to invest in and they go down, this is like when you're in my position and you're an experienced investor and you know how stocks work and you know how to see the rewards, you can stomach the losses in the short term. And I kind of get used to this now. Like, I'm used to seeing the rewards in 2 to 5 years, like Pinterest. Granted, I didn't really expect it to jump as much as it did in that one day, but I was expecting Pinterest to, you know, I've always said, like, when I bought into Pinterest, I expect 100% return in the company in 2 to 5 years. And look at that, we're getting really close there now. And obviously we're kind of close to the 2-year spectrum. We're not there yet, so we kind of hit the home run early, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, you know, whenever you get a bit worried on early doors, just look at what's happened previously and you'll be okay. And then we had Taylor Wimpey as well, which obviously we kind of expected horrible earnings from them, but once again, it's a new company, only 3 weeks in, go anywhere in the short term, but long term, you know, it's very similar to Greggs. When we look at long term, look at the previous stocks 2 to 5 years down the line. Eventually they'll get back up there, and once again, this is kind of the early days catching Taylor Wimpey, and it'll eventually get to where the levels that Pinterest are at as well. So I thought I'd do that video just covering some of these earnings, and obviously covering the fantastic earnings from Pinterest over the Friday period as well, some fantastic ones. Let me know down below if you had any of these shares, if you managed to have Pinterest shares as well. I'm sure you've done quite well on Friday as well. As always guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.